The worldwide release of Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is imminent. In fact, it's already open some places, which is why I have seen it already, and in this review I will break down the good and the bad about the movie, and where it leaves the MCU going forward. But let's begin with the good, and that will go fast. The best thing I can say about Quantumania is that with the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home, this could be the single best Marvel movie to come out since Endgame. But considering that all Marvel movies since Endgame have ranged from pretty bad to outright awful, that is faint praise, and it's all downhill from here. The best thing I can say about it is that as a standalone movie, it's about the same level as Ant-Man and the Wasp, so still bottom tier compared with back when the MCU actually was good. Since that is no longer the case, let's begin breaking down the bad. Let's first address the big elephant in the room that everyone wants to know. Is Quantumania woke? Before answering that, let's just remind ourselves of Disney's corporate position, which Iger affirmed to Disney's activist employees after wrestling back control over the company.
This company has been telling stories for 100 years, and those stories have had a meaningful, positive impact on the world. And one of the reasons they've had a meaningful, positive impact is because one of the core values of our storytelling is inclusion and acceptance and tolerance. And we can't lose that. We just can't lose that. I think about Black Panther and the impact that had on the world, or a film like Coco. I mean, I could go on, and how we actually changed the world for the good. It must continue.
This statement from Bob Iger foreshadows what Kevin Feige told the MovieBiz podcast in their January 11th episode when asked what lessons they've taken away following Phase 4.
To distill it down of what lessons is learned is entertain the audience at every turn. Frank Capra has a quote that our co-president Lou D'Esposito quotes often, which is basically distilled down to entertain first. You can have as many beautiful messages and beautiful life theories and beautiful thematics that you want to put into the world, that all of us do and all of our filmmakers do. But if you're not entertaining first, it will fall on deaf ears. And I think that's always been the way.
In other words, the message Kevin Feige took away from Phase 4 was that in order to get away with the messaging that Iger insists that they just can't lose, they have to get better at hiding it, making it more subtle, masquerading it behind laughs. That is what was done in Quantumania. The wokeness is not so in your face as in the Phase 4 movies, but it's there. And it's first expressed through Cassie Lang, the daughter of Ant-Man, who is an activist, to the point where she's practically Antifa. And she and the rest of the family will even scold Scott Lang for not doing enough to change the world. While the words are not uttered, the message is that he needs to do better. There are multiple incitements to riot and break the ruling system over the course of the movie, and Hank Pym himself even says something along the lines of socialism isn't so bad, presenting it as the better alternative for a, hypothetical new ordering of the world, if you will. Don't believe me? Watch the movie and look for it, and you will see that that message is there, and quite consistently at that. That's just about the only consistent thing there was though. The tone was anything but. In a recent video, we broke the exclusive scoop on why the movie was doing reshoots only weeks before it was due to be released. To recap, the director had made a somber and brooding movie, but Iger, as soon as he came back in power, ordered more jokes and cheap laughs to be added in reshoots, and so they were. Now we know the result of that, which was a tonal mess. Every dramatic scene in the movie is broken up by some stupid joke, which is detrimental to both the narrative and the story. The big problem with the movie is the writing, because both the story, character development and characterization leaves a lot to be desired across the board. To cite an example, it's a stretch how they all end up in the quantum realm in the first place, and it's an even bigger stretch that Michelle Pfeiffer's character never even hinted at what was in the quantum realm to her family, despite knowing perfectly well. I mean, she could have kept quiet about her own sexual affairs in the quantum worlds, but her husband kind of did need to know why it would be in their best interest never to go back to the quantum realm ever again, and more than that, why any means of even getting there needed to be destroyed and urgently. Instead, she remained quiet, and the movie asks too much in asking you to go along with that. On the topic of destroyed, that is incidentally something MODOK was. If you thought Patton Oswalt was bad as MODOK in that animated series, you ain't seen nothing compared to the complete waste of potential here. And on the note of wasted potential, let's move on to Kang. Following the advanced screening for critics, there was one recurring theme across many of the social media reactions, namely how absolutely incredible Jonathan Majors was as Kang. Whether the individual reviewer's response was good or so-so, Majors was consistently praised as the best thing since sliced bread, so much so that it could mean only one of two things. Either he had delivered a performance to rival that of Heath Ledger as the Joker, or that the critics had been supplied with a talking point to disseminate to the masses. Now, having seen the movie, I can safely conclude it was the latter. That is not a slight against Jonathan Majors. He does a fine job playing a different Kang than he did in Loki, and I am sure he will continue to do so as the many other Kang variants he will be playing in the next few years. What let him down here was the incredibly weak writing, as no actor can shine with the kind of writing we are saddled with here. For contrast, Thanos was built up as a genuine cosmic level threat over several movies, and when he took center stage, the audience got to experience that he was everything he had been made out to be, and then some. As for Kang, remember that really lame villain from Star Trek The Next Generation, Berlinghoff Rasmussen, played by Matt Frewer? That time traveler whose technology is the only thing making him any kind of a threat? Well, that's Kang in a nutshell. Even with his technology, Ant-Man could hold his own against him. Without it, Kang can't even survive the quantum realm without the help of a much older woman. We, the audience, are told he is this unbelievable threat, but the only potential threat I see is that there might be a more capable version of him somewhere in the multiverse. After this movie though, I am not sold on either Kang as a villain or the multiverse as a plot device. So you can safely say I'm not too excited for the storyline to be told over the next few years of Marvel movies and TV series, which is called the Multiverse Saga. Are you? Let me know in the comments.